Hey, it's Andy Blanks with Youth Ministry 360, and I'm here with another teacher prep video. This teacher prep video is for lesson 2 of the Paul study. Now, in lesson 1, you should have set the stage for kind of the parameters of what you're going to be going through. This idea that teenagers are busy, extremely busy, and a lot of times what happens is they don't make time to meet God in prayer and in the Bible, in silence and solitude. That's kind of how we're setting up the Pauls. Lesson 2 is really going to begin to get into this idea of prayer. Lesson 2 is going to be focusing on the Lord's Prayer and really thinking about the idea, introducing the idea of prayer as the language of our relationship with God. Relationships are huge for teenagers. We know that. Relationships in studies, if you read studies on sort of teenagers and what are important to them, study after study, relationships are near the top. They value relationships deeply. And so the relationship, how we talk about relationships and their relationship with God really resonates with them. And I think that's how we're going to couch this discussion of prayer, is the idea that prayer is the language of our relationship with God. And we're going to, the one sort of main Bible takeaway or theological takeaway is teaching your students the Lord's Prayer as a model for how to pray to God, thinking of it as a framework for their conversation with God. And it's really instructive in this way. I think you're going to find that it's a lesson that really allows you to give them a really nice, repeatable framework. And that's the key, is we want to really try to help teach them how to pray in a way that they can use that to really begin to pray, each time they interact with God, use it as a model. And then the goal is hopefully that once they get accustomed to it, they can begin to adapt it and make it their own, obviously, and as they grow deeper and closer to God. But that's the idea, to use the Lord's Prayer as a model. And then we're gonna, the takeaway is, and this is really, really cool, the takeaway is going to be to try to allow your students space and time in your event for them to go practice this prayer, for them to try to get away from the group. If you can do that, to try to get away from the group and really spend time praying through the Lord's Prayer as a model. We give them a great guided instruction piece in the student book to allow them to do that. As a personal aside, I've done this event. I've done the Paul's event several times before with various churches, once at my own church. And what we have seen is students start out a little hesitant. I don't know if I can spend 15 minutes in prayer. Maybe some of them have never prayed more than 5 minutes. And every time I've ever done the pause at any different event, the feedback has always been extremely positive. Teenagers have said, hey, I prayed for longer than I've ever prayed before. I really felt connected to God. And the discussion that followed that prayer is always really meaningful. And again, I think you're going to have a great time with it. As always, we are here for you if you have questions. If you need help preparing or questions with the lesson, call us, live chat us, email us. That's what we're here for. We're praying for you as you do your event, and I hope it just goes great, and I will see you on the next teacher prep video.